Joel Matip is a player who has divided opinion over the years for Liverpool fans. He's been one of the subjects of debate with regards to, is he good enough? Is he ably fit to be able to play for the team? Is he someone who you can consistently rely on for that back line of Liverpool? And the answer to that is no. But has he been commander at the back whenever he has played? Has he been one of the key signings of the Jurgen Klopp era? Has he been involved in some of the biggest matches in Liverpool history? Yes, yes, and yes. And today the news came out that Joel Matip, there are talks to keep him at the club for another year or to extend his contract even. Now, a few days ago, in the Fulham game last weekend even, Joel Matip went off injured. It was then reported a couple of days or just after the Sheffield United game that he ruptured his ACL and he's going to be out for pretty much the rest of the season, which is a shame. It's never something you want to see, especially for a player who's been in the terrific form that Joel Matip has this season. He's been unbelievable back certain games. I know the Tottenham game, he got that own goal, but before that, that was one of his best performances for us. He's been commanding in that back line, fantastic on the ball. You can't get past him at points, and it was a shame to see him go down the way he did. But there was never certainty of his future. His contract was running out this summer. There were people saying we should extend, people saying we shouldn't extend. I've always been in the sort of camp of extend it, keep him around for that experience and that leadership and just as a backup. And it looks like that's going to happen. So in the same way that we did with Oxlade-Chamberlain when he suffered that injury against Roma, Matip's in talks to get an extension on his contract because he's essentially missing the remainder of his contract. He'd be gone by the time he comes back, which is a shame and it's disappointing. But do I still think that it's the right thing to do, extending the contract? Yes and no. I think I'll start off with the yes. So, as I mentioned, fantastic rotation player, leader at the back, experienced, level head who can match Van Dijk for composure at points. A fantastic passer of the ball, which Liverpool like to utilise. Enjoys running forward with it. He's a menace actually when he does it, like we saw against Leeds a couple of seasons ago. And he's one of the bargains of Premier League history, a free signing from Schalke, who's been with us for 7 years and has been in Champions League finals, won the Premier League with us, won the double with the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, the Club World Cup. He's won everything. And I can see why they would do it, because it sheds the club, it shines the club in good light, which is the right thing to do. It is something that someone with a bit of humanity would do. And that's what the club does for players. We care about them. And it's nice to see that that's going to happen. Now, the negatives, which there are, unfortunately, there's always going to be in this situation. Is Joel Matip fit a suitable amount of time of the season? No. He's injured more often than not, you have to say. Is he someone who you can rely on in terms to stay fit going forward? No. And is this injury going to hamper him? Like we saw Van Dijk with ACL injuries. It took him a year to get back to where he was, and that's this season he's starting to get back to it now. Would Joel Matip, a player who's very fragile physically anyway because of injuries, who's in his 30s now, 33, 32 I believe, who's suffered a ruptured ACL at this point in the season, is he going to come back just as good? Probably not. And that's why I can see the perspective of wanting him to leave. Now, I do think the club are going to offer him the contract because things have happened very quick. It's been a case of he's been injured. Klopp spoke about it today. If there wasn't something being discussed, he wouldn't have said anything about it. And if the club were considering signing him, it seems like good PR for Klopp to go out there and actually say it. However, I would not be surprised if we didn't. We saw it with James Milner. Klopp wanted to keep him. FSG said no. We saw it with Henderson. Klopp wanted to keep him. FSG said no. Firmino, I imagine, was the same sort of thing. I think Ox and Keita were sort of a joint agreement, but we've seen in the past Klopp wants to keep players. FSG saying no because the player's too old, contract's running out, it's going to cost money to keep them on when we could bring someone in better, younger maybe. And I would not be shocked if it was a case of he left despite the injury and despite talks of a contract extension. Which would be a shame because I think Joel Matip, he would still get his moment, being paraded out at Anfield, given an award for his accolades at the club. He's won everything he can. And he deserves that moment the same way Wijnaldum did, and Firmino did, and Milner, and all these other players. If he didn't get that, it'd be disappointing, and he still will if he's injured or not, because he's not broke his legs. He's still going to be. He's suffered the ruptured ACL. He's still going to be able to go out onto the pitch and collect the awards. He just won't be able to play, which is a shame because he's a player who, when he came into the club, he divided opinion. There were people saying, this is amazing. It's a free transfer. He's going to partner Mamadou Sakho at the time. He's going to become. Finally, we've got our centre back. It didn't quite work out at first. There were a lot of doubters of him. He was a bit hot-headed, a bit sporadic at times, but he got that under control and became such a key player for our squad. Do I think he's one of the greatest centre-backs we've ever had? No. I do think he's in that tier just beneath. In terms of what he's done for the club, he's up there with maybe Aggers, that kind of calibre of centre-back. I think there's the top tier, which is like your Hippiers, your Van Dijks, those kind of players. And then there's the tier beneath that, which is like your Daniel Aggers and your Martin Spells and your Joel Matip. He's just one of those reliable centre-backs, which is fine. And I fall in the camp of I'd love to see him get the extension, just so that we've got depth in that area of the pitch until we sign more centre-backs. Because we do need, this has reaffirmed the idea that we need a centre-back, and that's something that's been discussed. Inacio has been mentioned. Lacroix today from Wolfsburg has been mentioned. Centre-backs galore. Hincapié is another one. And we do need to sign someone there. But I just think until we know for definite we're getting someone, losing Joel Matip, a player who we know has been superb for a good number of years now, is foolish. And yes, like I've said, he might not come back as good a player as he was, but we still need to give him the opportunity, I think. And even if he just plays the cup games, rotation player in case of injuries, he's in his 30s now. I feel like he'd understand. I see no reason in losing him just because of this injury. Extending him just feels like the right thing to do on a personal level and for a business sense. Yes, we'd save money by getting him off the wage bill, but this summer we're probably going to lose Thiago. There's going to be other players who are going to be leaving the club. Salah could potentially go. There's a large chunk of the wage bill there. We need to try and keep some players, and Joel Matip, to me, is one of those people who he's not going to set the world alight, but he's a reliable deputy to have. And as a number 3, maybe number 4 choice, you're not going to get much better. Bring someone in. The club have the money to do it. And just keep him around. Give him that year. He deserves that year extension. So that's just my thoughts on the Joel Matip situation. It's not really a great deal to say. We do play Crystal Palace tomorrow, and there's just going to be a bit of promo now. Go check out the LC Transfer Room, where I do give my thoughts on the starting 11 for that video. Go check out Redmen TV. I was on there earlier today. Always enjoy going on it and giving my thoughts on the Crystal Palace game. And yeah, there's going to be a lot more stuff coming out. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.